Deal gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in, Defeating the Curse. We are live post-game. The Giants beat the Commanders 14-7 in New York. Honestly, I'm not gonna do the rant to start the show. I got to keep it down. My wife was very clear with me. I need to not yell because there's a couple kids napping in the house. It's also not good for my blood pressure. But I gotta say, JDR and Ron, if they're on the team plane coming back, I may not watch next week against the Eagles. This could be it for me. Like, this team is the most aggravating team. As fans, we're watching I'm watching and I know how this story ends, and it's extremely, extremely frustrating. Stevie, you said something in the chat that I think we have to start with because it shouldn't get lost in the mix here. Sam Howell is regressing, and he's regressing rapidly. For all the talk about holding the ball, getting it out quicker, scheming players open so he doesn't have to do as much, quick release, whatever. He's getting worse, man. He's getting worse. The defense today that they were facing is arguably the worst in the NFL. They looked, again, much like the Bears, like they were contending for a playoff berth, or they were, getting ready to go kick ass in the Super Bowl or something. This is an atrocious offensive output, and Sam is looking worse and worse and worse behind that O-line.
What we should all be upset about is that I told you right before we started, I wasted 3 hours. Yes, happy trails, Ron Rivera. I wasted 3 hours of my Sunday. That's what I'm upset about. I could have gone to the dog park, had a lovely time at the dog park.
Perfect weather.
The Commanders are forcing FP and LP to hang out together. They could have hung out with much better people, okay? And they have to sit together on a couch and watch this team.
Cute.
Okay?
I mean, they look great.
Everyone should be upset that they wasted 3 hours watching that game. Bravo to anyone that didn't turn on the TV for that game. Sam Howell is regressing, and you can see it. I mean, he was making easy throws were difficult for him when he had time. He never had time. There's total makes sense why he would be regressing. He literally has they are ruining the maturation process of Sam Howell. The team looks like they've quit on Ron Rivera. It looks like they stopped playing for him, and they have no confidence in his coaching. Eric Bieniemy's play calling, I'll leave that for FP because I assume he's got some words for that. The team looks like a mess.
The team,
they look like a mess. They look like they've quit.
It's so frustrating, like coming out of the gate so flat every week. Like, has there been one game this season where they looked sharp on their first, second, or third even fourth offensive possession? Doesn't happen. I see LP wagging his head over there. You guys can jump into this is like, did anyone actually expect this team to win today? Like, in my heart of hearts, I knew they were going to lose. And I actually posted something from 2012, same weekend, however many years ago. I was crushed by a loss to the Giants. And here, what's old is new again. Here we are again. This team looked bad. Their best offensive possession was their last offensive possession. And that's, even then, it was shaky at best. They just don't look good. And somewhere in the back half of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, Saquon got loose. And then a bunch of receivers, I don't know their names, they started catching the ball and looking great. Darren Waller, who's literally been a ghost this entire season, a bust from an offseason signing perspective, he's out there now being guarded by whoever. Which linebacker was toasted on 2 or 3 plays back to back to back. Then and that's before you get to the defensive discipline issues, right? Jamin picked up a terrible penalty late in the third quarter that cost them, what could have been, another possession. It ended up extending a drive, but Sam Howell's final line here is 22 of 42. I mean, yuck. 249 yards, an interception. just looking at some of the other players in the box score, Chris Rodriguez, 7 touches for 31 yards. Brian Robinson, 8 for 23. Again, like no establishment of the run. And this wasn't like a game that got away from them. This isn't like the Broncos game where they were down, 2 or 3 or 3.5 possessions or whatever the math was. This was an anemic Giants team that can't score at all, that put up 14 points. You would think if you only give up 14 points, you can win. But here we are, the Commanders lose 7-14. And I gotta calm down. FPLP, you guys jump in here.
Without a muff punt, you have 0 points from the offense. Without that muff punt, the offense is atrocious. The line is horrible. Sam is horrible. The receivers are not getting open.
Sam's not horrible.
I mean, he's not horrible. The receivers.
Oh, LP. Who is to blame for today's performance?
Everybody. Offense.
Oh, you got to pick somebody.
Defense,
Everyone's got to pick somebody. You got to vote somebody.
They're not very five people on both sides here.
I wanted JDR fired at halftime, and I wanted Ron, and I want Ron fired right now. Even if they had won this game by some miracle. I mean, and somebody did jinx it in the chat, but if by some miracle they scored that touchdown, similar to what they did with the Eagles on the last possession, they have to go for 2. And even if they won the game, I would want Ron's head. I'm 100% out on Ron. I'm 100% out on JDR. And I'm losing faith in Sam Howell really quickly, but he's got the longest runway of anyone because I think he can do it. And the offensive line is not helping him. That offensive line was, I mean, they literally could have put 14 people on the field on defense and not stop the Giants. They could have put 14 people on the offense and not picked up the blitz. It was terrible.
The sacks are on Sam. He's holding the ball way too long. The offensive line is mediocre at best, but the sacks are on Sam. The Giants had 5 sacks all season. They had 5 in the first half. It's on Sam. I'm not saying that he should be benched, but he's got to figure this out sooner rather than later. You can't just keep doing the same thing.
I think at this point it's in his head, to be honest.
Sam Howell had an average time to throw of 2.2 seconds. Look it up on Twitter. He had an average time to throw of 2.2 seconds. LP, come on. What is he supposed to do when the pocket is collapsing on him?
Yeah, I mean, it's also not his
fault.
fault.
The game plan has to change, and you saw that in the second half.
They couldn't do anything. They finally started wheeling him out of the pocket on the last drive of the game. First time.
They did that all of the second half, and it started to work, but it doesn't matter because it was too little too late. The offense was stagnant. Jamin Davis, the penalty was horrible, but I mean, at the end of the day,
David Mayo came in off. Listen, I want to
take Forbes out, same result. Take Cody Barton out, same result.
FP's been riding the linebackers in particular like really hard all season. David Mayo, not a starter, came in off the bench to lead the team in tackles. Okay, like 7, he went 7 and 2. That's not okay. Like it's just not okay. That's a guy who's not good enough to be starting, but comes in and I guess you could spin it and look at it from the other side of the coin and say, he had to, but he got burned on a touchdown. He got burned for a long gain across the field and across, I think it was like a 20, 25-yarder to Waller to the sideline. St. Juste looked bad. I mean, Montez, I don't think we called his name once outside of the sack, maybe. I think it was the sack, and that was it. Chase arguably had the best defensive performance, and he didn't look particularly great either. But obviously the box score is going to reflect differently, right? 3 tackles and 2 sacks. So, like FP, I mean, I don't know where the defense, like the offense, I think has the talent and the ability, and I still have faith in Bieniemy that he can call, he can still call plays in a spot. JDR, I don't think, like Steve said, I think they have stopped playing for him. I mean, literally, Daron Payne literally took a knee. He pulled a Hainsworth at the end of the game. And it cost them, a 10-second run up. I don't know what he was doing either, but I don't think they're playing for JDR anymore. I don't know why he's still employed outside of Ron is just crazy loyal, but like this doesn't get any easier from here. And you and I talked about this last week. These games could have been wins, but in reality now, these games are all going to be losses. They're not going to beat the Eagles playing like this. They're not even going to be competitive playing the Eagles like this.
I don't know why we keep saying these games could have been wins. We are hands down the worst team in the NFL. Hands down. You cannot name me one team.
We're not worse than the Panthers.
No. You cannot name me one team that is playing better or playing worse than the Commanders. We are
trash. We are the bottom of the bottom. It starts from the top. Ron Rivera does no preparation. The team comes out flat. JDR, you said it yourself. JDR has a defensive game plan for a 1985 level NFL game. We are incapable of doing any sort of stop. You have 6 first round picks on defense, and David Mayo is your lead tackler. You cannot do anything on any side of the ball. Your only bright spot was possibly Crowder getting us past the 15-yard line on punt return.
They see.
Yeah.
This team is flat, playing in the negative, incapable of doing anything. And yeah, Howell sucks. Yes, the O-line sucks. They both get the blame. You have Chris Rodriguez coming in because you don't have a real running back. B-Rob sucks. Gibson sucks. Your female coach can't coach up your running backs. Everything on this team is trash, and it comes down from your coach-centric GM philosophy of Ron Rivera, who refuses to get out of his own damn way.
If we're gonna make a list of trash, let's add Joey Slye.
Ron has to fire JDR.
Ron needs
He's
to
not
fire
going
Ron.
to. We already know he's not going to. And if we're gonna
What would that fix?
nothing,
What would
let
that
them
fix?
just go playground. Just go playground.
It doesn't matter because
Let
they're
Chase-
gonna fire
let
him
Chase
at
go
the
play.
end.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
At this point, why does the team not just try to effing tank? Go for the tank. Go try to get Caleb Williams and go try to get
No, we don't
all
want
the first-round picks. You have nothing to play for. You have 3 NFC losses on the season.
You make them
Eagles are gonna
sound like
come
they
in
are
and
actually
wipe
the
the floor
Panthers.
with us.
They're 3-4. I mean, they're not as bad as the Broncos are a more hopeless team in my opinion.
Joe,
than the
take a
Commanders
pause. Take a pause and read me the next 5 games the Commanders have. Tell me if any of those look like wins.
I mean, they might beat the Patriots. Although
No,
the Patriots beat the
0
Bills.
chance.
They beat
The
the Bills.
Patriots just took it to the Bills.
Yeah, they're not gonna beat the Eagles.
Listen, guys, I'm solutions oriented here. Okay, how does this get fixed? The only solution is
No more
Ron
field
Rivera
goals.
needs to be fired in the next 3 weeks. I don't know when our bye is. I think our bye is late, but he needs to be fired in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
That doesn't fix.
I'm not done, LP. Would you give me a second? Okay?
It pains me to say this because I truly believe you need to do the whole season to see what you have in Howell. But it might be Jacoby time just to see
Oh, I'm not.
if it is a Howell problem or an offense problem.
You will not see what you have in Sam Howell with that offensive line.
Right.
You will not see it.
But you need to see.
But if you
need
pull
to
him, you're not.
remove
If you
Howell.
pull him, he's not coming back either.
But you think about it. You have to pull him and put in Jacoby so that you can identify the other
No, I disagree with
bad.
that. I think you got to roll with Howell.
You already know
because
the
you
other
know,
bad.
you know exactly what you have with Jacoby Brissett. Like you've got to stick with Howell because you have to finish
No, Joe,
evaluating
but
him.
what he's saying is
I
if
know.
Jacoby
I understand,
flourishes,
but they have
you've identified
this
the variables.
offense has at least in 2 games looked good. The second half of the Broncos game and the Eagles game, like they did look good. And those were and the Eagles. It's not like they were playing a bunch of scrubs. They were playing one of the better defenses in the league. So like they are capable of moving the football and staying in a game. They just come out so flat. It's like it's
It's a wrong thing every
it's
year.
the negative game. It's exactly. It's just they're so slow starting. Like if they could get up a touchdown or 2, maybe they can nurse a lead. Maybe as opposed to constantly being down. I mean, the Giants are an anemic offense. They are historically bad offensively, and they scored 2 touchdowns. Did you hear the announcers during the game, Stevie? I'm talking about it was the first touchdown for the Giants in a calendar month. First touchdown at home. First touchdown in blue uniforms. Whatever it was. It was like the end. It's more streaks just ending at the expense of the Commanders.
Look, if LP hadn't cut me off, I would have said you need to fire Rivera in the next month. Then you need to have Bieniemy be the interim head coach. See if he can light a spark for these guys. See if there is some character in that room that he can pull out, that these guys will play with some passion and energy. If not, then you move on and you get a head coach. And the most important thing you will do in this offseason is you will hire a president GM to take over all football operations, personnel operations out of Ron Rivera or the head coach's hands.
No hybrid thing. I'm with you. But I don't think they can wait a month because in a month They will have lost. Right now, they're 3-4. They will lose to the Eagles. They'll be 3-5. I think they can beat the Patriots.
Nope.
Maybe. Okay. They will likely lose to the Seahawks in Seattle. Then it's the Giants at home. Then it's the Cowboys. Then it's the Dolphins. Then it's the Rams. And then who knows? At the rate we're going, it could be Jets with featuring Aaron Rodgers again. So like, and then it's 49ers and Cowboys. So like there may be only
This is the 3-win season.
There's 2 wins maybe on this schedule.
Just get yourself comfortable with this being a 3-win season, and it's completely shot. And
this is another game. Yeah.
Keep riding Howell to see what you want or to see what he has, but why? Like what's the purpose of doing that?
Because I think you have
to know where you have in Jacoby.
Yeah, you already know. Yeah, Jacoby's not your long-term solution.
You need game reps.
Nobody on this team should be anywhere in the conversation of long-term solution. Get rid of everyone but Jerry, and I'm
Stop yelling.
Nobody on this team should be on this roster next year.
FP, are you in full rebuild mode?
Yes.
Oh,
you rebuilt from the owner.
Overreaction.
No.
I mean, he's making you feel better.
Right? You got a new owner. Flush the toilet with everything else that he has not brought in. Keep Terry. I'll give you that.
That's not how salary contracts work in the NFL. Like, you can't just flush everything.
Flush everything. Recoup as many picks as you can. Get rid of everyone by Halloween.
Well,
I don't give a shit. This is the worst team in the league.
You can have all of
right now
in the world.
You tell me right now, if we don't play if we were to play the Panthers next Sunday, we win? 100% no. 100% we wouldn't get more than 10 points against that defense. And we would lose in the last 2 minutes of the game. Like we do every year.
They only managed to get 7 points against arguably the worst defense. Like the Giants, it's absurd that they gave up 2 touchdowns to a team that couldn't score, to a backup quarterback who's been in the league 100 years. I mean, I think at one point Barkley's shoulder fell out of its socket. Like something happened to him. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know if they called it out on the broadcast, but like he busted his elbow or his shoulder. He came back in. He still looked fine. Like they at times have looked competent, but today it was flat. It was poor from start to finish. And I'll give you this, FP. If they play the way they played today in any of the games for the rest of the season, they lose all 7 remaining or whatever.
What have you seen outside of the one anomaly of the Eagles game that was still a loss that makes you think we would come out any better?
The second half of the Broncos game, I think, is still where I'm kind of hanging my hat. That was an away game.
The Broncos are the Broncos. The Broncos.
We know that now. Okay. Well, you're asking me. I'm answering your question. We know that now that they stink too. But it was. I mean, they were down in that game. They looked really bad, and they had to retool the offense kind of on the fly, and they did it in I won't say it's a hostile environment, but it was a difficult place to go and play. Like Mile High is not easy to go play in. But they did come back and they looked. I mean, they came back against the Cardinals. They played great against the Eagles. Like the Bears game. The Bears game.
The Commanders beat a team that gave up 70 points at one point in one game. That's not anything to hang your hat on. Why did we score 70 points on the Broncos?
Season? It was actually the next week, but yeah.
With all due respect to new owner Josh Harris and my new best friend Magic Johnson, love you, Magic. Okay, nobody should watch this team next week. Nobody should tune in. Nobody should go to FedEx. I don't even know if they're playing at home. Nobody should.
They're not playing at home because all the
Eagles
will be in FedEx.
Yeah, dumpy Philly fans.
Has anyone checked Magic's Twitter yet?
I'm sure he's sending some passive aggressive. I mean, listen, Stevie was hanging out with him. Are we allowed to talk about the trip to Atlanta, Stevie, or should we? I
don't think we got enough time. Hey, NFL games are brutal to attend in person, by the way.
Oh yeah, what do you do during commercials? What do you do during commercials when you're you can't walk around and just pace the house? What do you do?
Well, it's tough because you usually look at cheerleaders, but you got your 3 kids there. Okay, so there's not a lot going on. No, nobody should. I am very interested to see what this ownership team does over the next 3 weeks. It's very clear that they don't put up with ineptitude very long, and so. Do they have balls enough to make a move?
I don't think Harris actually cares, and I really do believe that.
Harris was there at the game.
He let the Sixers flounder for a while and let the people that he put in place just kind of do their thing. Now the silver lining here is Ron and the Martys and this with the exception of Bieniemy, I don't think he's looking very fondly at anyone in the front office or in the coaching ranks and saying, "Hey, I gotta retain this guy." And like my whole thing is they've let a ton of talented coaches walk out of, Ashburn, Redskins Park, whatever it's called now. So like, I don't think he's going to shoot from the hip here and get rid of Ron. I think Ron has to get rid of JDR because like, once you said it, Stevie, I can't stop thinking about this. Like they have stopped playing for JDR. This individually from a talent perspective, it's too good. If you gave the same defense to, I think it was FP that said this last week, right? If you gave the same defense to Belichick or Tomlin or I don't know, pick another defensive coordinator that is excellent or even average. Who's an average defensive coordinator?
Giving them Dable, they would have been just as good.
You could probably get Rex. You could probably get one of the Ryan brothers out of the TV booth or wherever they are and say, "Coach this crew up." And you may get a little bit more of a pop. They play flat. They play slow. The linebackers are atrocious. They can't cover anyone. The Giants literally have people. They literally have Jags playing wide receiver. They're not known names. They're not very good. One of them ran out of bounds and caught the ball, and this officiating crew gave him the catch anyway. That was a terrible call too. But like this team, like when you look at it defensively as constructed right now, I generally tend to agree with FP here. Like, I don't know who you're saving on the defensive side of the ball. Chase at the end, at the way Chase is playing right now, he's going to end up with a great statistical season and actually nothing to show for it, right? It's going to be lost in the minute. It's going to feel like a Kerrigan season, right? Kerrigan had several really good seasons that no one ultimately cared about because the team amounted to nothing and the defense played very poorly. Like, I feel like that's the trajectory that he's on right now.
Can I go back to bitching about Sam Howell? Because Tony Baguette, or whatever the hell the Bears QB is, whose dad's an arm wrestling champion,
yes,
came out and looked amazing against the Raiders and Max Crosby. Like, there's at some point, like, I want to see what Howell has, but you're 7 games through. He's not doing it.
He's 23 years old.
He's regressed.
You got to give him this time. And what's the
I don't know what your obsession with.
Game and we have a high draft pick.
I don't know what your obsession with pulling Howell is.
Tyrod Taylor comes in. He looks good. Tony Baguette, whatever his name is, comes in. He looks good. All of these guys are coming. Gardner Minshew comes in, and the Colts almost take it to the most dominant Browns defense that we've ever seen in the NFL. Like, at some point, you have to look at the team and be like, I'm going to put people on the field that can help us win, that can help us execute this offense.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hold on. You can talk about putting people on the field that will help you win. I'm more interested in taking people off the field that will cost you. I don't want to.
That's everyone.
It's not everyone. Jamin, we're picking on Jamin Davis because he was responsible for both touchdowns.
John Dotson misses the touchdown pass. Why is he taking special team snaps during the week?
Man, I don't know.
Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Listen, FP.
Everybody sucks.
FP, you've had 7 starts with Sam Howell. In those 7 starts, true or false, you have seen him make every throw he needs to make as a starting quarterback in this league.
Not every throw.
The majority, you have seen him be able to make essentially any throw that you need your starting quarterback to make. There is not a QB alive that can perform well behind this offensive line. I don't care what you say.
My point is, if you know what you have in Jacoby, but if you bring him in, if you don't have drive killing sacks,
I don't think
he throws it away quick or he hits your escape, your hot route. Maybe that's what you need.
Jacoby's not going to pick up a blitz. He's not going to be any quicker scrambling out of the back, out of the pocket. He's not going to be any more accurate down the field. Like Jacoby, no, I'm actually completely opposed.
I'm with FP in the sense of Jacoby Brissett would probably be a better decision maker and game manager than Sam Howell is currently. But my point is Sam Howell needs to learn how to do that. There is a maturation process.
Okay, let's say Sam Howell goes the rest of the season and he learns what he needs to learn. And then next season, you have a new GM, a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator.
Great.
They're going to come in. And what if Howell sucks within the next 7 games of that season?
Well, they will know before they
then you're better at all of those positions, and you just need a quarterback.
Then you're right.
Yeah.
But what if everything you just said happens and Sam Howell is great?
Yeah.
Well,
can we fast forward? I would love to fast forward, FP.
Remove the Ashburn syndrome from the equation. Do you realistically think that Sam suddenly is going to learn how to take less sacks? Do you think realistically, suddenly, Sam is going to learn how to maneuver in the pocket and make the passes he needs to make?
I think if he was practicing
He's 23
against,
years old. Why can't
yes,
you?
yes.
All right,
This is where coaching.
Go back to his
Hold on,
Carolina
FP.
days.
Hold on,
What
FP.
did they say about him in Carolina?
This is where coaching matters, right? Because can he get better at identifying the blitz or the specific packages he's going to see from the Eagles next week? Yes, you have a scout team that runs that, right? They're coached by the same coaching staff that prepares your offense and your defense, right? So can he get better at identifying things? Can he get better potentially at audibling off the, right before the play call or identifying the mic? Yeah, he can. He can do those things.
All right. Then let's put it this way. Next week is the first time Howell's going to face the same defense twice.
Yes.
So he should be better than he was when he faced them the first time, theoretically.
He should be, yes.
He was great when he faced him the first time.
But the
And
offensive
now if
line,
he comes out and he's significantly worse, what happens?
what you have to define what is significantly worse for Howell.
Look at this. Look at we got canines on here. Anarchy. Okay.
I like these.
Bro's the fifth biggest fan here. All right.
I don't know what you're expecting from Howell, given how atrocious the offensive line is. You can't just. I don't know. Like I don't. I guess I can see it both ways, but I'm not a fan of bringing. I don't want to see Jacoby. Like at that point, because then you're punting on the season. I don't want to see Jacoby, right? Because at that point, it doesn't like it. You might as well go get Heineke again, right? Like you know what you got in Jacoby.
What does that get you? That gets you 8 wins. We don't want 8 wins anymore.
Honestly, I'd rather have 3. I'd rather have 3 than 8. Yeah, I mean that's the truth. I'd rather have 3.
I would like no one to watch.
Given that I want someone not named Ron Rivera with Marty's making the picks. Like that's the problem. You can accumulate all the picks in the world. I mean, maybe we just need a better person making the selections, right? Like, what's Scott?
Balls to the wall. Who is watching next week?
That's a great point. We need better people making decisions. Quan Martin was playing today. 2nd round pick. Sucked. Forbes.
He was knocked out of the game, wasn't he?
What?
He was knocked out, wasn't he?
He came back.
Okay.
Point is, you draft high draft picks, and you don't even get them on the field. That's how bad our selection process is.
I mean, Chris Rodriguez.
Our offensive line is horrible. Why couldn't you spend that 2nd round pick on a guard? Why couldn't you spend the 1st round pick that you put on the bench for Forbes in a tackle?
Why didn't you re-sign Brandon Sheriff? And why'd you let him walk for $1 million more to Jacksonville?
Why did you let Eric Flowers walk, who's making $6 million a year?
Why is Nick Gates on a football field?
Why is Nick Gates on a
Why did we bring Andrew Wiley over?
This is my new favorite segment.
No one else wanted Andrew Wiley.
Why does Ron stand like this? With 90% of the game. Why is Jamin Davis not paying attention to the play that's happening in front of him and not?
Why can our wide receivers get 0 separation on any route?
While Waller can stand in the middle of the field for 4.5 minutes waiting to make a 30-yard completion.
I mean, why is John Bates seeing targets in the passing game?
Byron Pringle.
I don't think Bates saw any targets today.
Pringle. I think he got.
Why is Cole Turner not even on the field? Again, you keep drafting players and you don't even put them on the field.
This is my new favorite segment. This is my new favorite segment.
The number one question is, why are we fans of this team? Why? Why did
I watch today? Why did I watch today?
Excellent question. Why did we watch today, Stevie? Why did we watch today? Why did we take advantage of the nice fall weather? Maybe take the kids to the pumpkin patch, get some apple cider, get some Honeycrisp apples and get the lunches ready for school. I could have done so many more beneficial things with my time than pace around my house. I mean, I did end up cooking during the second half because I couldn't watch the disgustingness on the TV. But like, why? Why am I doing this to myself? Why? And why am I going to show up next week expecting anything?
No, next week no one should watch.
We saw we were going against a 1-5 Giants team with literal linemen being pulled off of the couch, and all of us had the same thought: our D line should eat. We should be able to get the pressure, get the sacks, disrupt this offense, and dominate. It did not happen. We weren't even close to looking like an NFL team today against literal scrubs.
Yeah.
Literal replacements.
Tyrod
There was a
looks-
shot where they showed half of the offensive line for the Giants on the sideline laughing and eating because all of their backups were dominating our first-round picks.
Yeah, I mean, and we said this last week coming into the game. Like historically, Saquon actually hasn't played very well against the Redskins football team Commanders. Like he hasn't like ever. I think with the exception of one game, really gone off, and he didn't really do that either today, right? Or maybe two games. Thank you, LP. Like 21-77, 3.5-ish yards or so. A lot of them came on basically 2 or 3 carries. The fumble was, I mean, that was a good play. It looked questionable. I didn't necessarily think it was a fumble on replay, but I also didn't think that Jalen Hyatt made the catch on the sideline. So that stuff kind of works itself out. I came in prepared to berate the officiating crew based on what happened last year. They were fine-ish, I think. But Darren Waller going for 98 yards and a touchdown is clearly the best game of this season for the Giants. Every other team has figured out how to bottle him up and keep him from being a threat down the field. The leaky defense today, and I said it earlier. I just want to reiterate it again. I think if the Commanders had 2 additional bodies playing linebacker alongside Jamin and whoever else was out there, I still think they would have been leaky. The scheme is wrong. That like my brain just tells me, again, as a fan, I'm watching on TV just like you guys. The scheme is wrong. Something is not right. They don't consistently get pressure on the quarterback. It's always off the edge. The pressure's always off the edge, never straight up. If you look at the majority of Sam's sacks today, they were not off the end. They came barreling down right down the middle in his face, and that's how it's been all season long. Yes, I know we don't really have a legit center playing, and Stevie alluded to this already, but they don't consistently get pressure from the front four, and that sucks because they need that to happen to shake the quarterbacks a little bit. Today was probably arguably the worst quarterback they're going to see the rest of the season. Am I mistaken here? I mean, Tyrod is certainly worse than maybe Mac Jones with the Patriots, but Geno better, Daniel Jones likely better than Tyrod when they come back to town. Dak better, Tua better, Rams and Stafford better, Jets Zach Wilson push, Aaron Rodgers better, 49ers Purdy way better even from a game manager perspective, and then Dak again. They legitimately may win 2 or 3 games the rest of the way.
They're not winning any more games. Let's just end it there. There's no more wins coming from this team. Until something happens, a.k.a. JDR gets fired, there will be no more wins coming from this team.
I don't believe so. I think they will not do anything, and they'll still win 7 games, 8 games.
7?
That's what Ron does.
7?
There will be a streak. There will be a streak.
I will
win 3 games in a row.
They don't have 4 wins on this schedule. No way.
I hate positive LP. I'm gonna screenshot all the
It's
negativity.
not positive.
Give him a hug. Give him a kitty twister or something. We're
just gonna start tweeting screenshots of LP being negative in 4.5 minutes when he gets home and finally eats.
Or when the Wizards start their season. Jordan Poole went for 41 and then went over 41 the next night. It's going to be a great Wizard.
Bradley Beal. It's totally okay.
All right.
Hot garbage. Everybody in DC is hot garbage. There's no good sports teams in DC right now.
Well, listen, we have at least one game to look forward to on the schedule, not Commanders related, which is Eagles and Dolphins. But we'll see. We'll see. Stevie, any final thoughts?
Moment of silence for our survivor pool.
No, there's not moment of silence. We'll be okay. We're gonna be okay. The Rams are gonna pull it out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, I'll give you last thoughts. I will be on the show next week without having watched the second of Commanders football. D-backs, Phillies, amazing series. Astros can go to the World Series tonight. And congratulations to Islam Makhachev, UFC lightweight champion, beat Alexander Volkanovski headshot yesterday.
Actually,
I saw the highlights, Stevie, and I did want you gave us a bunch of 2 weeks ago. You told us we had to watch the Logan Paul fight. That was not
Joe. I want you to jot this down for the next pod.
Yes.
The bit is going to be Steve is going to come on and tell us his thoughts of the game and what the weaknesses were without watching a second of the game, and we'll see how accurate he was.
Well, I mean, I was going to take it a step further. We can just record it right now. I'll just hit record. Tell me, Stevie, what are your thoughts for next? Just give us your thoughts on the Eagles game. Eagles
you're talking to a season ticket holder for 10 years here, okay? They couldn't protect Sam Howell. He was rushed, okay? Defense let up in the first half. Couldn't get any stops. Couldn't get off the field, third down. Game over. They lose 31-17.
You got them scoring 17. Okay. I actually, yes, I'm in agreement. The only thing I would change is I think Jalen Hurts is going to have like one of it, like a career night because he's just so leaky defensively.
DeAndre Swift too.
Yeah, he looked good the last time.
Redskins are going to win 56-0.
I don't. That's my play. I love that play, but I'm not feeling it these days. And frankly, they couldn't cover the receivers 3 weeks ago when they played them. I don't see what's going to change between now and in 6 days when they face them again. So it's going to be ugly. Stevie, I'd love to get your thoughts on the Phillies. I think I mentioned this. I find myself at times I was cheering for the Braves just because, like, that's the team that was always on TV, TBS. Come home from school, you just 4:05 is always like a Braves game on. Occasionally the Cubs, but more of the Braves. But I got to be honest, like as hard as it is at times, where I catch myself smiling watching the Phillies when I see Bryce go up, when I see Trey go up, like Schwarber with the crazy home run a couple nights ago. Like it is tough. It's tough.
Hey, don't smile. Think of Pete from Philly when you think of the Phillies. Don't smile.
Is that how you do it?
Hottest team in baseball. The only hope right now is that the Astros get to the World Series and put an end to that.
I don't know if I could cheer for the Astros though. I mean,
you got to.
I don't know. There's a lot of hubbub on the TV with Garcia, one of the Rangers, taking things personally. I don't remember. He got hit by a pitch or something. But all right, boys. The Commanders lose. It's the beginning of the end, hopefully, of the Ron Rivera era. It's been one of these things. Honestly, I don't even know what to say at this point. It's just another loss, and there's going to be, I think, at least another 5 or 6 of them. LP and FP, thanks for making time. Stevie, hope you get outside for a little bit and definitely enjoy next Sunday. I wish you. I think we're going to talk on Tuesday.
I can't wait.
We're still talking on Tuesday. We're going to record on Tuesday.
I'll be there.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Stevie. To everyone that's been watching, my name is Joe. This is DTC post-game reaction show. We haven't done one of these in a while. It was good to get out here and just kind of vent a little bit. I feel a little bit better, although I know the boys. Hopefully they do too. It's sometimes it's nice to share your thoughts and just at least for me to share my thoughts and see what happens from there. The show's available on all platforms, social media, and podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Find us, search Defeating the Curse or DTC. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. The Commanders lose to the Giants. Game they needed to have to stay competitive in from a wild card perspective. Giants stink. Turns out the Commanders stink more. So until next week or Tuesday when we record, thanks for listening. We're out.